Ah, yes, the stats. I revealed all the stats in a previous episode and figured out if I increased anything at all. It's not really my intention to increase anything, it's only my intention to be aware. But if I can help myself, why not? If I can try something new, why not? There's tremendous amount of benefit from awareness alone. Just because you know something, you can become stronger significantly. This is that one other time we're going to talk about the muscles. I do this test, but there's one position that from this position you can make so many exercises. You're just holding a fist. You hold a fist, bro. From this position, I can do the fist going forward and backwards exercise. Fist going over my head and stretching. Fist going in either shoulder. So already 3 things I can do. This is the most base exercise formation, which should be able to be accessed by anyone at any time. You can exercise at any time, and that makes you much more powerful than people who go to the gym. Whenever you feel like you have extra time, whenever you feel lazy, you can boost your self-esteem and exercise in the moment. As I doing this video, I can exercise, bro. It's that easy. Just like hard pumping motion when you go back and forth. It's probably the most intense exercise you can pull off. That's also incredibly accessible to anyone. When I'm in pain, that's just my go-to thing to do. Just keep pumping, bro. It feels like a super fist when you combine these two things together. Fist being held by another hand. Bam, bro. There's even a fourth motion of doing like this. Not just this. Like this, right? You can also combine the wheel spinning onto any of the exercise. So you put it overhead and you can spin the wheel. This is the most baseline shit ever. You should have known about it when you're born. When you were 3 years old, you should have known about it. I'm telling you this, it's very useful to do exercise when you're cold. That's pretty cool. So now you have a baseline exercise and you can apply it in one situationship. This alone could boost your self-esteem and boost the amount of exercise you do, or at least how much you're able to perform. Because that's how I treat it at the moment. The obvious baseline exercise that everyone knows is walking. If you spend a lot of time outside, you probably don't even need exercise. Yeah, now that summer is coming to an end, it's about time to reveal the ultimate strategy. Probably your face has the most muscles, and at least these ones are pretty fucking important. That's the only thing you can even do. Yes, you can strain your eyes even. I have a bad eyesight, and I know almost for a fact if I strain my eyes, I will straighten my eyes. I will get back my vision. Same goes with the mouth and teeth. My mouth and teeth are fucking crumbling into each other because they're not exercised. They're almost like fighting each other, just like the bones in my skeleton structure, as AI would say. Fucking my ribs and my back would also fight each other for, space because they're not being exercised properly. Every single bone in my body basically is fighting each other. I made myself a promise. I signed a contract, bro. If I burp, I repeat the exercise that made me burp. I think it's just an interesting thing how exercise can make you burp for whatever the fuck reason. Was there something stuck in there that came out? I love how straining your eyes more or less means that you are on a computer screen, but actually straining your eyes, it is what's that? Training, but with an S? That's crazy, dude. Strain and train. Who would have thought? It's literally the same thing. In the end, there's only so much awareness that you can cram into your actions. At some point, you just gotta do shit that every healthy person is trying to do, and it is exercise. It is that simple in the end. Because it's a territory that you can go into and explore very easily. You don't need to use a lot of brain cells to do it. But it is just one territory of like 100 things to do, unfortunately. And the moment you're doing it somewhat consistently, there's nothing to think about. You just found all of the things. If you have the baseline figured out completely, that's it. That's where it ends. And you have to accept that defeat. Second exercise that is not baseline anymore. Social exercise. First of all, social exercise is that you have to feel good whatever you're doing. But that one is hard. To train your mouth, you have to actually smile in the end. Yep. This is why women love men who are tall, because you can be more tall if you just simply exercise. And this is why society loves smiles, because you can smile harder if you exercise the fucking mouth. It is just as hard as exercising the back. Don't you worry about that. You'll have plenty of things to do while exercising your mouth, bro. Ooh, I got something for you.
If you were anything like you do not exercise because you're not interested in it, you've never been interested in it, you're not competitive, you're not into sports, you're not into getting your heart rate up, this message is for you. Because I wish somebody would have told me this a lot sooner in my life. I had to figure it out on my own. So hopefully this helps you. I've been on a journey for the past couple years of just like figuring out what I like, who I am. And the number one thing that I have been exploring is my health. I have back issues. I have scoliosis. I've had issues my whole life. And it wasn't until I had a back injury in 2022 from moving, like lifting boxes moving, that I started being like, oh, like, gosh, I'm 23 years old and suffering from this back problem. Like, this isn't going to get better. I'm not going to get younger. So what can I do to start making my life better in that way? So that's when I started taking it seriously to try to figure out, like, how can I build up my core so I don't get a back injury again? That was my motivation. So I tried a bunch of different things. Some things that I'd tried in the past, I tried again. And I landed on something that I really love and, like, just really worked with my lifestyle, which is doing bar. I'm a bar freak. I love it so much. I do it 3 times a week. And it has completely transformed everything. Like, I wish that I could go back to myself going to my first class and being like, girl, stick with it. Like, you're making such a good decision. Because if somebody would have told me that the benefits of exercise are not just the physical appearance benefits. That's what I thought. I thought that people who exercise were just really into looking fit, having muscle, being thin, whatever. I always equated exercise with that. And I'm not competitive. And I don't have a lot of drive to compete with people, so I was never interested in sports. So, like, not doing sports, not being interested in, like, the physical appearance benefits of exercise, these are all things that made me not want to exercise at all for all my whole life until I was 23. And I was like, oh, actually, maybe I should. So when I started exercising and I started seeing the actual physical benefits, so, like, you know, I'm stronger, I look stronger, I have stronger arms, all of that was great and all, like, it was fine, satisfactory, but really what the benefit of my whole life has been and the way that it has changed my life is I am able to operate so much more confidently and so much stronger in my everyday life. Like, for example, my fiance's family is really fit and active. And like when we were first visiting them, they'd be like, let's go on a hike. Let's do this. And I'd be like, oh my God, like a hike, like 5 miles, it would be scary because I'm like, I could do it, but I will be tired. I'll be winded. I'll not want to do anything for the rest of the day. Now these days, 5 mile hike, sure. Okay, easy. I'll do that and then I'll do another one in the evening. Like I have the ability and the strength to do so because my body is used to working out. But even more so, it's the small things, like when I'm on an airplane by myself and I have to put my bag up in the overhead bin and I don't have to be worried that the bag's going to be too heavy because I can pick it up with ease and grace, thank you very much, and I can put it up over my head and I can keep it in the overhead bin. And these benefits have been so much more rewarding than any of the physical changes of like having more muscle, maybe even like losing weight, getting like some core strength. All of that has been great and fine and dandy. But the real benefit has been I don't have to be scared to move furniture anymore. Like, I can bring in all of my groceries on one arm. Like, I'm strong now. And because of that, I don't think I will ever stop until I literally can't anymore. Like, it has been so rewarding. So highly recommend if
I recommend exercise.
Workout, first thing you
What's this bar,
need is a
bro?
light set of weight, 8 reps of everything that I'm doing.
I'm
So
already bored.
there, hold your arms, bring your elbows back.
You
and
need
up,
weights for this. Get the fuck out of my face, dude.
back and up, squeeze, tapping. Then again, open
She
up
looks like she's 100 years old.
wide. Breath is the most into a V. Again,
Okay, this is trash. Most of the exercise can be defeated by just moving in random directions, doing random fucking movements for 5 minutes, and you will defeat all the exercises in the world, basically, except mine, the baseline exercise. And this is so separate. The smile, the social exercise is so separate from everything else, from every other muscle, that it's hard to even notice sometimes. Some people don't even notice that exercise is important. Holy Jesus. The funny thing is, there's level 3 exercise. The everything exercise is level 3. Noticing that you can improve everything if you just keep doing the same thing, right? If I want to improve programming, I'm not supposed to find the magical moment when I want to do programming. I have to just keep on doing, keep on pumping games out, and that's the way I'll become more powerful. When I started doing that, I immediately caught a grip on being able to even make games in the first place properly. Yeah, you just keep doing what you're doing, basically. Is the everything exercise, or just do it is the everything exercise. That's why it's so powerful. Let's see how many stats we can actually improve with this. Health we can probably improve like by 2. Solving by 1. Time saving by 2. Because if you are active, you're not going to be laying around lazy all the time. Your mind is going to be on a different scale. Independence. Exercise does a lot of things, but a moderate amount of exercise. Once you get all these things, well, you're done. Comfort. Potentially time saving before going to sleep. Just mild exercise. You still need to transition into the like staying in bed state, I would call it. Staying in bed state. Skill could increase. Obviously, the exercise itself goes almost infinitely. So we can just like draw infinity and beyond. As much as you can push through it. You're not going to do more chores. Your channel could get boosted by that, by the way. You might post more. The everything exercise, boys. But that's it, right? That's all you can get. Social? Okay. Social is also pretty big. killing habits, basically, and potentially having a new habit. That would be ideal. Let's put it this way. I think it would kill a lot of bad habits and could create a lot of good habits. Boosting esteem probably by like 3 points. This one, you're not gonna get anything from that one, unfortunately. Maybe some kind of weird business idea because you're social or whatever, but that's about it. I mean, your health should improve significantly. That's where the self-esteem comes from as well. I technically forgot to add food separately, because food is, you can improve in many ways on food. How tasty is the food and how expensive is the food, right? And technically, how often you eat healthy food, I guess, or just how healthy the food is. It is somewhat based on skill and health, right? It's a combination of these two things. But I think it's important enough to make it separate. And also, what water do you drink? Do you enjoy drinking water? Do you celebrate drinking water? Are you upset that you have to drink water? Because you shouldn't be upset, boy. I'm thirsty right now. It's time to celebrate drinking water. So yeah, I literally forgot food. Let me fucking add it then. Get out of here, hour. Get the fuck out of here. I had very basic food level, and I probably increased it by 1.5 in recent times. But when it comes to expenses, I mean, I have to add another one. And I'm constantly improving the way that I drink water. I think I maxed it out. You see, I was stuck with jams. I actually have to talk about it. Jam is good, but it actually tastes like shit in general if you are just drinking jam. It's gonna taste like shit and it's gonna erode your teeth. It's still very acidic. So you have to kind of counter it. And I found the best counter to that. Fucking ice cream. I put ice cream into my drink right now. It's a very recent thing that I'm doing, and it counters all the bad taste that ever happened. Milk cannot even do it. It's the cream somehow beating all the bad things about my drinks. I have no idea. Specifically ice cream. Scooping that fucking ice cream in there. Not ice cubes. Straight up ice cream, bro. I don't know what is in there. What's so special about it? But I added it and it fucking worked. It makes my drink so much more smoother. Smoother. Smother my drink. Smother it. Yeah, exercise is one of those things when, oh no, my friends want to leave me alone. We'll see how that works out for them, because they can potentially do more exercise, not less. It's not like when I was hanging out with my friends, they were doing exercise in between times. Nah, bro. They were just fucking laying around. Alright, let me grab my drink. ChatGPT, tell me what makes my drink so much better when I put ice cream. Is it vanilla? Into mini dessert chemistry experiment. Fat plus sugar, smooth mouthfeel. Okay, that's very cool. I love oil basically in my mouth. Oil also very feels good. Flavor amplifier. Okay. Changes texture drop. Nah. Texture upgrade. Creamy. Nostalgia. I activate nostalgia flavor. Yeah, so even though I gave you guys the idea that just put jam, just put flavor into your drink, one thing that you also have to beat is the acidity. This is quite acidic, actually, still. You get flavor, but you get a little bit of a side effect, unfortunately. Oh yeah, come to think of it, you will naturally find time to exercise, and this can lead to natural beauty as well. This is technically the baseline esteem, but if you're gonna be stuck with it, you're not gonna get much benefits. In fact, exercise is so baseline in general as a skill or a stat that you're better off multitasking while you do it. Most people do it that way. Even ventilating my room is an exercise because I often want to have my window shut. I use the door to ventilate my room by swinging it. It is what it is. It's technically an exercise. You just have to do it quickly enough, and you can change your positions of like how far away from the door you are. You can activate a completely different set of muscles to be trained. Even though I'm multitasking the ventilation of my room because there's no fucking AC. So if you're truly serious about being on your PC, you might want to ventilate your room with exercise and be on your PC with exercise. Not like this. And all of a sudden, you're next to your PC, you're doing the same exact thing, but 3 times better. 3 times louder and prouder and more comfortable, even though it's more intense. And at the same time, you will be alerted when you're tired to back away. Everything is just perfectly set in my life right now. After max stats, I have the bright ideas of how to improve things. The last piece of the puzzle I thought is going to be using one of these dancing pads, put it on a wall, and just slap that shit. But I need something more responsive in a way. Maybe it's possible to turn a mouse into like a movement stick. I don't know. I could maybe play card games with that. I don't know. There's so much to explore in terms of the way you even control the PC. So I would say multitasking or embedding exercise, it is level 4 exercise. Level 4 means that you don't even think about it anymore. And level 4 is potentially the final level. After just do it, just embed exercise. So now that we have made the cake, can we go anywhere else anymore? You just saw like how the women delivered it of like, oh, I discovered exercise. The end. That was the end. You need it. Absolutely. You must kill some of your laziness and replace it with exercise instead. That will boost most of your stats in the end. Yeah, I still want to emphasize the first step. Every single step is to make sure that it's easy for you. It's easy to understand what being social means. Exercise is not supposed to be hard. It's supposed to lift you up and make you feel human again. Most of the discoveries you have to make for yourself, no one's going to come at you and tell you exactly how to move your muscles. There's no fucking way. And even then, I personally had to wait to activate this when I am confident that my food level is proper, that I get enough cheap food and it's healthy enough. Otherwise, what's the point of exercising? You're burning too many calories. Too expensive, my friends. Just another reason to be careful with this thing. It's not a given. I think Kira is not going to be that important. I think I can just eliminate her as a bonus meme. And even hide her from the spotlight, even though she talks quite a lot about stuff.
Yeah, the world ending. No, just, feeling like every time I go online, I see so many people who are falling for really hurtful, dangerous propaganda. And I just want to try to equip as many people as possible with the tools to not fall for that kind of propaganda, because it tends to be the propaganda that reduces empathy and makes people's lives worse or more dangerous. AI is not a god. AI is not an omnipotent being that knows things that we as humans don't. AI is a tool that is summarizing the wealth of human-made and shared information on the internet. It is scraping what we know or what people have opined, ideas that people had, and putting them all together and synergizing that to give you an answer. Now, is it an incredibly powerful processor that's arguably more powerful than any human individual brain? Yes, but that doesn't mean that it has access to like metaphysical or spiritual or like non-physical knowledge that we don't. Which is all to say that like, just, be wary. I'm seeing, stories of like religious psychosis, things where people message ChatGPT like, which God is real? And that humans don't know.
Well, it's as closest to God we can get.
Let me give you another tool for yourself. Keep people sleep. And like, they're always kind of constantly going down. Complex. And so one of the things I find really helpful is if you can identify your own bug and then just actively check in on them, keep an eye on them, and choose hobbies, activities, social gatherings, things that fill those bars. So one of the obvious ones, but they are all lowering at every moment because the amount of time since you've done something that filled them up is, you can just check in with your bars.
That's interesting. It's an idea that you can use health for something, which is work. It's pretty obvious. There's the opposite spending bar or whatever. But in the end, you need the stats to help you fill the bars or whatever you need in life faster. Regeneration, you need better things. So food can, be tasty. Right? How much tasty food can you achieve? Again, the funny thing is, money can boost every single stat. A lot of people literally have money in their veins. They can't live without it. They would die. They would perish. Because they boosted themselves so significantly.
I also find it very funny that there are people being like, you are too old to go to the club because you're married. And then there are also people who are like, you're not too old to go to the club. How dare you imply that you're too old to go to the club? Which is it?
You're not too old, but be prepared to be bombarded by single people, who also will feel bad that you are invading club privacy or something. It's both, bro.
We're in the club!
Very obvious. You can see it's the difference maker is how much you want it, how much you need it. I keep finding things about this. You can straighten your arms entirely. Like, there's so many things you can do. You can find other baselines. And all of a sudden you have relative control of your back as well, but mostly your arms. You have leg control if you are just standing up most of the day. The back control is a little bit more complicated. This exercise helps. Tilting your head helps. So finding your back is actually a little bit more complicated. And if you raise your fist, you can also bend your back a little bit. So that helps. But yeah, the most helpful thing is tilting your head and breathing. Just breathing kind of fixes your back somehow. Unfortunately, we just found number 5. Breathing is also an exercise. But I can just add it here. Like breathing. But at the same time, no. Whatever you're up to, even breathing. Just breathing, bro. Have you been breathing today? Yeah, you can turn that into an exercise.
Cool. I'm not trying to... I just want to say thank you. This has been my study hack my whole life, and it just might change your life. Study before you know there's a test. Or study before you know that the test is actually, like, happening, right? So there's a couple reasons for this. First, I want to talk about the way that your brain processes information. Sleep is a huge part of the way that our brain moves.
Well, all you need to know about this one is you need to just tap into your flow state. And in your flow state, if there's something about to happen and something makes you worried, you're gonna be doing that thing. Because it entered your life. It makes you worry. You have to be prepared. You have to start working things out about it. In a flow state, if something blocks your flow state, you have to regain confidence and fight back. That's it. You know, you can't let anyone take anything from you. And if someone invades your flow state, they will be met with real bad consequences. I don't know what you can study, to be honest, anymore.
I just want to say this. I've got some sentences with logical fallacies that make the arguments invalid. You're gonna pause and think about what's wrong with them, and then we're gonna discuss. Let me know how you do in the comments. Here we go. Number 1, my Gen Z coworker is always late. That generation has a real time management problem. Think about it. Oof, I have just made a, say it with me, sweeping generalization. I've just assumed something about 70 million people in the US based on extremely limited information. Chances are that assumption isn't going to be very accurate. Okay, number 2, everyone I know is investing in crypto. It must be the smartest move. Think about it. Okay, this is called a bandwagon fallacy, where we assume something is right just because lots of people are doing it. Jumping on the bandwagon. This fallacy, along with peer pressure, can get people to do a lot of things that we otherwise wouldn't and shouldn't. So if somebody says something to you, you're like, I don't think.
Funny thing is, exercise does feel like a bandwagon, but it's because the most baseline self-improvement that most people neglect anyways. Yeah, in America we only have 2 political sides because 2 is already good enough, you know? People want to be on their bandwagon when it comes to society. They don't want to split that shit apart too much. Also makes me really bitter when I have to deal with haters who are on their own bandwagon. They have their own belief that they're trying to fucking cram into my head.
That's right. And they're like, yeah, but so many people believe it. That's just a bandwagon argument. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. Lots of people believe things that are not real all the time, and lots of people do things that they shouldn't all the time. Doesn't mean you should necessarily believe it or do it. Okay, next. I'm sorry I didn't study for the quiz, Mom, but to be fair, the teacher never even explained the material properly. Think about it. Okay, this is a red herring. I'm bringing up other information, my teacher at school, to distract from the actual issue at hand, me not studying for the test. Interestingly, it's called a red herring because red herring, like dried fish, used to be used to train hunting dogs. They would follow that smell instead of a smell of an animal they were pursuing, something that distracts away from the actual issue. Red herring. This commenter, but I'm begging you guys, if you see something you don't know, just go Google it. Why is everyone in the TikTok comments being like, do you have Google? You have AI. You have ChatGPT.
We're trying to be social. Yeah, I'll use Kira for a bonus meme, basically. Let's laugh at some people. Yeah, you can combine footwork alongside with just the fist. The ultimate fist. There's so many ways to move that making repetitive moves is actually just like doing repetitive programming. I think it's illegal. I love how he looks at the camera to smile. Bro knows he's multitasking right now. He's not showing the most important exercise. Wait, it's happening. Wood chops. See, you can do that with a fist. Why would you chop with your hands? He just discovered another fist thing. How is this comfortable? And I just discovered that one of my shoulders is weak. Fucking hell, dude. Oh my god, uppercuts! Oh my god, he's punching my button. Funny enough, you can still do it with a fist. There's more for legs. What is he combining here? Forgot to mention a pretty important thing. While I recommend exercising when it's cold, I do not recommend exercising when it's hot. This is technically being filmed in a summer day when I'm just realizing that, yeah, I'm asking way too much out of myself right now. in the middle of sweating marathon. In the middle of someone judging me because I sweat. And they sit still like fucking idiots still. I don't even know anymore. Bro is just dabbing. He's just dabbing. At this point, this is an important exercise for you to learn. What is this? Here comes the dab. Bro accidentally made the fist. Bam, look at that. And then he quickly realized that that's copyrighted. I do feel that your body can heal faster if it's presented with straining, right? Exercise is still a form of straining, of putting pressure on your body somehow. And if you do it properly, you heal back stronger. So I genuinely feel that damaging your or straining your mouth is gonna whiten your teeth. It's gonna fix your teeth. And maybe, just maybe, no matter how broken they are, I think almost everyone has a chance to be normal. Wow, punching is a thing. Let's go. The most obvious form of straining is stretching, is something that I keep mentioning. And the funny thing is, you can put your arm out, but you're not stretching yet. And then you can search for a position where you're maxing out some kind of muscle or ability. You can rotate your arm just a little bit, and all of a sudden it changes. So as you straighten your arm, there's a whole radius to test of how far can you go. In backwards, of course. Forwards, like, easy. It's backwards mostly. Same goes with legs, like you want to see how far you can lift your leg. This one is very common. What the fuck are you doing, bro? It's like a shitty dance. Technically, it's like a rope jump. But fucking have a rope at least. Bro already sweated. Like you're already a junkyard person. Like, why would you sweat? That means it's too hot. Or you didn't take enough breaks. You shouldn't be sweating while exercising. I'm just saying, guys. That's not a good thing. Like, if it's summertime, just being under the sun is exercise. You get a tan. You get cooked, bro. You don't need no fucking exercise. You already get energy out of other source. You already, like, with your human solar panels, you will be able to sleep less and have more energy under the sun. What else do you need? So you can sense how much awareness exercising actually requires. So when it comes to this versus this, I mean, this literally symbolizes health, and this symbolizes, well, fucking degeneracy. That's what it symbolizes. You need awareness when you exercise. And this awareness exists as a nice little split across all sections. And then you leave exercising, so it's like, what else are you doing? Well, you're doing the normal day tasks, but better. Oh, and the most funny thing is, it's still better to be a degenerate than do nothing. If you have nothing else to do, be a degenerate. Otherwise, you have to go down the pyramid and find more meaningful stuff in life, because if you become a degenerate up here, you'll be doing very simple things that give absolutely no value in return. Why overcomplicate things, bro? What the fuck are you combining shit together? Bro definitely got bored of being a degenerate. Honestly, that's what it is. You will find, again, a lot of life advice comes from degenerates. This guy seems to be popular. No? Oliver did. Oliver with a smile. What about your face, though? What about No, that's not full body. What about your fucking smile? We are mortals. We want to have the physique. This is where everyone starts. I'm technically starting from the pinpoint. Yeah, that's where everyone starts. There's not a lot of options. But we want to find life where there's the most variety there is. That's where the most life stuff happens. Exercise is just the most baseline thing you can do, but you have to do it as best as you can. Absolutely. What? I think running is the most baseline, burn all your calories type of exercise. I'm thinking about esteem, and it's like if you can fix anything, you can fix any situation. When you cannot take damage from anything, you can dodge all kinds of damages. That's where esteem comes from, right? But also it's a collection of all your achievements and a speed in which you are achieving things as well. Right now, unfortunately, I do listen to haters, and it's very hard on me to believe in myself. When the haters who have done absolutely nothing and know nothing about anything, they talk freely. So yeah, unfortunately, you cannot lean on exercise and just be like, yep, that's what I'm gonna be doing today. Nah. Oh yeah, you can just run with legs, but you can also run with punches. That's also running, but with your arms. And in a way, for a person like me who is standing up the whole fucking day, if I really want to be exhausted, I have to run with my arms. I don't use arms throughout the day. It's kind of weak spot for me. So the most obvious thing when exercising, you have to look for your weaknesses and strengthen that, while the rest can potentially gain strength naturally. And don't be like that guy. You have to use force. You have to not spend too much time exercising. You must exercise intensely. So you give up faster. You don't want this thing to be, oh, I have to go to the gym, and it ruins your fucking life. Because it's an extra thing that you have to visit on a fucking map. It's instead of time saving, you would be losing time. You save time when you are strong enough to do something. You walk faster, That's a big deal. You save time when you don't have to think of, like, do I use a car for this? Where do I refuel? Should I use a bike? Should I use a fucking electric scooter for this thing? No, you just walk. You're just like, no, I don't have to think about that. You don't have to, when you're carrying something heavy, you don't have to waste time waiting until you recover your energy or something. And most importantly, you don't have to deal with pain. Time saving, boys. You still have energy left over because you have gained more muscle. More muscle can be used to endure more tasks. But again, it will put a strain on the way you use food. Let's call it the strain meter of, like, the requirements. Be careful. Food is definitely not going to get boosted by this, unless the funny thing is you become bigger and you get to eat more food, more delicious food, right? Maybe you'll want to visit more restaurants and eat more food. Then exercise is fucking perfect. So you can also kind of sense a variety in a way, but, well, you just gotta be fit. That's it. The biggest loss of esteem will happen if you lose health, right? If something is wrong with you and you can't get it together. Everyone can do exercise. When you start with the things everyone can do, you're gonna be mentally stable. And the other way to boost esteem, even if you're fucking homeless, you do exercise in public. You have to do it. You gotta do what you gotta do. But as homeless, again, you don't have much food. Homeless people can't do exercise in public because they're stuck, bro, with empty bellies. So it's kind of like our responsibility to share food with homeless people and exercise with them in public. And that's some good shit right there. That's a good time spending. I mean, we just came up with an idea in a way. Some people can't exercise, they can't afford it. You can build a whole fucking social center to feed people and let them exercise. Well, I think my job is done. Earlier than expected, we can just spectate people as how to start your exercise journey. Ooh.
Progress like so many people do. So let's cut through natural lifter to make real significant gains over the long term.
Yeah, I know that I just don't have to watch this video. You're not gonna find any life up here. It is down here where the choices are. Why would you need muscle? Where are you gonna put that shit? You're gonna have to feed that pet, you know? Literally, at some point, muscle is just a pet that only privileged people can afford. Thank you guys for watching. Alright, don't forget to strain your smile on me. Alright?